No,
They let anyone in these parts. You're not retired yet? I haven't seen you in a year. You know my saying, that must be okay. Must be all right for my blessing.
yeah.
Watch out for me. I'm getting out.
See ya. Good to see you.
We don't want you coming in here causing trouble.
I mean, love. So stressful. And there's a fee or
It is 6 o'clock and time to begin the town hall meeting. I feel only right that we start this meeting with prayer. So that's what we're going to do this time. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and we acknowledge that you are the giver of life. We acknowledge that every breath that we receive is a gift from you. We pray with that in mind that we will watch every word that we say and we will do just what you would have us to say and we will be for the benefit of our city. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Introductions. Down here to my far right is Council Member James Steele. Next to him is William Thomas, Council Member. This is our City Attorney, Travis Plummer. And over here, all by herself, over down this side is Council Member Sherry Hopkins. And I'm Mayor Buddy Black. We call this meeting tonight because of all the dissension and the misinformation and the stuff that's been going on the internet. Some of it may be factual, some of it prompted, most of it is not true. And I'm here tonight, I call this meeting because I want to set the record straight so everybody can have a clear understanding of what we're trying to do and what we need to do in the city. And I'm going to begin tonight and let everybody know because we've heard talk about Act 833 and fire dues and all that. Having enough money to pay for training and that sort of stuff. I'm going to read off some numbers and just give you all just a little basic information so that you'll understand what we're facing. The Mansfield rural fire dues are $50 per year for everybody in the rural. City do not pay. City members do not pay fire dues. It's all rural. This past, we've got approximately 900 members in our rural fire district. 73 of those pay fire dues. We received in the year 2025 $3,680 in fire dues, and had everybody paid, we would have received roughly $45,000. That's a huge disparity, as you can see. We don't have a lot of funds to work with. Going back to the year 2024, we received $2,720 for fire dues. The volunteer firemen do get paid. They get paid. The officers get paid $15 a meeting. The members get paid $10 a meeting. And for incidents, the officers get paid $30. And members get paid $20. First responders get paid nothing. They get paid nothing at all. In the year 2025, Mansfield Fire Department responded to 69 fire calls. We had 333 medical calls. And Michael Smith, who was the former chief, most of the year up until the end of October, and John Cochran, sitting right back here, responded to all but about John signing it. And if you wish to speak, please raise your hand, identify yourself or something, and then we ask you to come up here to the podium and call. And you can make a statement or ask a question. You've got 2 minutes to do so. And if we have enough time, after everybody's talked, we have enough time, then we can go around again if you want to, all night long. Till we get every question answered. So, does anybody have any comments or questions? Who's gonna be first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
My name is Hunter Piles. I lived here for 24 years of my life. I'm from here, it's my hometown. I just have a few quick questions.
Where do you reside now?
Here. I have a few quick questions. Don't take much of your time. I requested 40 documents from the city in regards to training. 12 members were listed on the documents I received. With those documents that I received, only one person showed you have a current CPR card. With that, we showed to only have 2 members of the fire department to be current with active training certifications. The requirement is 16 hours a year. I would like to know why those requirements aren't being met. My next question, if we are filing for Act 833 grant money, are we saying that we are meeting those standards but are not? The CPR training here. And I hope that it can be of knowledge and use for the community.
Could you back up and ask those questions?
Absolutely.
So we've got our fire chief is ill tonight, and I'm able to make him, but I've got him on the phone, I've got him on speaker, and he needs to be able to respond.
Okay.
He has to let him on speaker, he should be able to do that.
Jesse, can you hear me? Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, so according to records that I received through a FOIA request that I provided and asked for to the city, I received a copy that the personnel, there were 12 members listed. Only 2 of those members through the documents that I were provided were current with active training. And I will say, I commend both of those members, and that would be yourself and Mr. Cochran. They're both current with those active training standards, and I commend that. I would like to know why only 2 members of the department are not current, or are current, but others are not.
So, I know that we have a minimum requirement of 16 hours per year for maintaining one fire department.
Yes.
I don't know if those training certificates ever expire. Just because I don't have that information.
Okay.
I know that several of them had many certificates and have been involved in fire service for a long time.
Absolutely.
I haven't reviewed everybody's single certificate. I've been more focused on operational preparedness on things in the station.
Absolutely.
That's the first couple of months.
One other question. I know that you're new to this for your role, and I commend you for it. Are you aware that grant money with Act 833 has been filed and those standards are not being met with those 16 hours? And it's of certifiable training per year.
So I would have to review and see what dates there were on training certificates, and I'm not sure that everybody's training certificate can be found in the personnel file. I would have to ask them personally to provide any extra ones that they have. I know, like, for information, John Carpenter, he's got so many that he's got notebooks full of them, 3-ring binders full of them. And sometimes we don't always have all of them in the personnel file. So I would have to
received those files, and the last, documented first responder training was 2014, I believe.
Okay.
And the last one for one of the other first responders is 2010. As a licensed personnel in EMT, we're required to recertify our license every couple of years.
Okay.
And I was just wondering why these continued dedication and training is not being done.
I don't have an answer for that. All I have is the scheduled training, that's gonna be in April and March with Dale Gilstrap, the first responder, coordinator here in Sebastian, and then we're also working with, Northwest Scott to get anybody that needs a refresher. So the only thing that I can say is that we will be building on the things that were here when we started and moving forward. Those things will be, very shortly addressed and in compliance.
Absolutely, and I want to take a moment and just thank you and appreciate you for getting the CPR class together. I was told that there was 8 members of the fire department present at that, and I again want to commend everybody that attended that. CPR is a vital role into saving lives, as we all know here, and I just want to commend you for that.
I appreciate that. I'd like to add something to that also, if I can.
Okay.
In the beginning of November, after I took over, we identified the need for a CPR class. There was a couple that were in the works, but due to, instructor inavailability over here in Sebastian County, we didn't find one until this recent one.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir, no problem.
Okay, while you're still up there, I'm gonna let Dwayne Loxton say something now, if you want to, Dwayne.
Okay, well, for the people in the audience, I'm Dwayne Larson, Fire Chief at Huntington. I think we're getting things twisted here. First responders and firefighters are 2 different things under 2 different agencies. The first responder program operates under Sebastian County EMS, under their license, under their medical code. There is no license for that at all in Sebastian County. Sebastian County EMS supervises the training, and they, in cooperation with the fire chief, approves them to be a first responder. Fire chief, as a fire chief, you can't go and say to one of your members and say, starting tonight, you're a first responder. It doesn't work that way. Not in Sebastian County, doesn't. There's no CPR requirement for firefighters. Everybody can say that it would be great if everybody was, but it's not required. The same way that everybody in this room can learn to do CPR. So you can blame the firefighters if you want, but you can only need to look in the mirror and decide why you're not CPR certified, because those people are getting the same amount of money to do that as you are.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if it was a medical call, what would a firefighter go on it then?
I don't know, I
If
would be,
if they can't, provide medical needs necessary, they shouldn't have been on that call.
I would not disagree with you that it might have been better had they not gone on that call, not being certified to perform any duties. And in their part, that particular night, was Huntington provides mutual aid for Mansfield. That particular night, I was working on the ambulance in Walden. I could not be there, so I was out.
I just want to, I asked that question, because I was told before that, firefighter necessarily should go on a first responder call.
It's 2 different things. It was reported in the newspaper that our retired ambulance, county-owned ambulance, was at the ball game Well, folks, that didn't happen. That's just unfair, okay? Our air truck was at the ball game. We have to, in order for us to operate that ambulance, we operated under Department of Health. There are guidelines which we have to operate by. One of them is that we have to have an EMT as a crew member on that ambulance. That night, I was not here.
But that ambulance that was at the game was an ambulance that Huntington Fire Department purchased with their own money simply to have an air machine on it to refill the firefighters' packs. That was not a Sebastian County ambulance. That ambulance was at the fire station. The ambulance that was at the ball game was their fire department's mobile SCBA units that was there. It was not, has nothing to do with Sebastian County ambulance. That Sebastian County ambulance was at Huntington Fire Department that night. Huntington was also not even notified of that call to even have any of their first responders come down here for that particular call. So my name's Chris Logston. I live in Crawford County, but this is my dad. I've been on this to bring the rural fire. I'm a paramedic, so I wanted to make sure that was aware as well. That information was in the newspaper was 100% completely an untrue, false statement.
Which newspaper was that?
Resident Press.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Sir, so what was that ambulance doing at the ball field?
What was that ambulance?
Yeah, what can they do at the, so
It was here, it was
if a
at,
player gets injured, can they take care of that player or no?
the only purpose that provided was a warm, dry place to put that player in until Sebastian County ambulance arrived. It was a warm, dry place that was heated, for comfort only, so no, they were not, that truck has.
Neither one of the guys that was sitting in it is EMT certified, nothing like that?
That is correct,
That's correct?
that is correct, they were not.
That's not even a licensed ambulance with the state. It can't respond.
So we need to make sure our athletics know that, because that's the only ambulance sitting there. If a player goes down and needs CPR, and everybody looks to that ambulance for help, and no one can come out and help, it's gonna be trouble.
It doesn't say ambulance. It says
I understand
fire
that.
department.
But 98% of the people that's sitting in them stands believe that's an ambulance sitting down there for them kids.
It looks like it does, it is, but.
It is an old ambulance, we purchased that in Ohio. So it's never been an ambulance in Sebastian County, it's not a licensed ambulance. Normally, the ambulance is there, normally I man it and it is available. That particular night, it was not. And we have the blue and white ambulance, and it is a licensed ambulance. The red truck, it's an old ambulance, but it's not an ambulance. It's an ambulance body, but it's not used for that at all.
So Gary Lawrence is not certified at all?
That's correct.
He's not?
No, it's not.
Okay.
So, anyway, back to 833, I was appointed by Governor Hutchinson to serve on the Fire Protection Services Board. I served 2 terms, and I just recently got off that board. That board oversees the Act 833 program. It's not a grant. It is turn back insurance money.
But there are requirements.
The requirements that you have, I believe it's a minimum of 7 firefighters.
It's 6.
It's 6, okay.
6 firefighters with a minimum of 16 hours of training, certified training.
And I believe it's 12 hours.
It's 16.
Most of the classes are 16, but I believe it's 12, but I'll leave it.
Also, I would like to make one comment. That ambulance at that game that night was told by a Mansfield Fire Department member that you were on that ambulance.
Well, they simply didn't know. I'll go get, if you want to see my time sheet, I can provide that to you. But I was not there.
Who was at the game then? In that game?
Gary Lawrence.
And who? There was 2 members.
I don't know who the other was.
And you said it had to be an EMT to operate that truck.
Not that truck, Hunter.
Not that truck. The blue and white truck. It's not an ambulance.
So the people utilizing that vehicle, were they licensed and certified to use that vehicle?
There's no license requirement to use that vehicle. That's not an ambulance. It's no different than any other fire truck that we have in our fleet.
So I sent a request to the emergency management director and did not receive a response involving that ambulance specifically.
Does it say ambulance on it?
No, it does not.
No, it does not. Absolutely. You know, you're well, we will leave here and go down, and I will let you look at it. It does not say ambulance anywhere on that truck.
That's good.
So what is that vehicle utilized for at the
Not an
Mansfield
ambulance.
football game?
We just know.
We just
To rehab players?
To keep a person warm and safe until the
Do we
ambulance.
not have an athletics building for that?
Not close.
Well, I will close with my questions.
I don't understand, I have a question. I don't understand that one night at the ball game, on a basketball game, a girl got hurt at the basketball game, and there's not one person to help her off the floor. They had to get the coach and two guys off the stage to watch that ball game to help that girl in the back. Or they could get their dad and mom to come and pick her up, because the M&S driver out of Greenwood or nowhere around to come and pick her up.
Well, I know nothing about that incident, so I couldn't really comment.
I figured
If
that.
somebody calls 911, the ambulance will come.
Well, they knew about it, but none of them showed up to help that girl. And now tomorrow morning she gets to have surgery due to they had to pick her up off the floor.
I have no idea. We don't attend basketball games. We only attend the football games.
But Mike Smith did attend the ball game.
have one right back here. All right.
He is certified trainer.
Adam, hey guys, I do not do public speaking, so I'm sorry.
Can't hear you.
Adam Hickok, the city manager.
Adam Hecox,
A resident of where?
40 yards that way. Okay. Mansfield, Harper Street. I've been a resident for 21 years. Seen reports of this and reports of that. I've kind of put things together in my own opinion, which I think we should all do. But one thing for sure, especially listening to the rebuttals back and forth with the fire department, city council should have documentation, not fire, well, I mean, fire chief needs to have it, but you guys all need to know who's certified and who's not. You guys all, if it's asked, then you should be able to present it. There's opinion, and I'm not picking on anybody, but you shouldn't have to call your fire chief to answer a question that's affecting the citizens in your wards. You should know that. It should be readily available. Gentlemen, you're from Paris?
I'm from here.
I
I live in Paris County, sir.
So for him to be able to obtain the records that he had to bounce through areas, and I'm not siding with either side, I should be able to walk into this city hall and request, and have a copy in my hand before I leave. And I'm not saying that you can't, but it seems like we only come together as a town with this stuff. The last time was a water issue. That was before Buddy was here. And the water issue, we had City Hall passed. And then the last one I came to, young man Senator Walters was over there and he saved a life. Not a firefighter, but he done a great job. Everybody gathered in there. The other two meetings I've come to, it was myself and two other people. So, everybody here asking questions, reading news from here, getting social media here, bringing this here and that there, we should all be here. Every time. Not only for our own information, but, I don't know, kinda, this is gonna sound like a jerk, but to hold the council accountable. 20 years ago, town, it's like, we don't have the funding
Heard of
for
what?
this.
Let me back, heard of what?
Pension raises,
Pension,
pension,
retired
City
pension.
council? City council don't give retirement.
okay, government officials, retirement, then.
Mayor,
We have,
Okay, Mayor.
at present, I stopped
Okay.
anybody from getting pension.
But there was, but
We do have,
two this past year.
let me tell you, we're getting a
Counselor.
pension. Right now, we're getting, we have a former mayor, a former city recorder treasurer, and a former, city attorney, who are all drawing pensions from the city. Nobody else will ever draw a pension from the city.
But they're getting raises, correct? Did they not get, did the pensions not get raised twice this past year?
No, they got raised one time, 2.8%, same as social security.
I apologize, I retract that, I apologize,
No, we-
I had thought that I had
We
read.
gave city employees a 3% increase, state increase, and
Which
it's
is fine.
much deserved, they should be making
I'm
more.
not saying that they're not deserving.
Yes, they
But
should be
at the
making
same
more.
time, whenever we say we don't have finances for certain things that the city needs, or certain things that need to be fixed, where is that money that was there whenever the town was growing? 10, 15
Well,
years
I
ago?
cannot
And
answer that question, I don't
I'm
know.
not aware, but it's something that city council can look into. You know, I've budgeted at my house, I
You
see what's.
probably have to go back 2 or 3 councils or 4 councils ago to find that out, I don't know.
Okay, but I mean, that's something that I would study if I'm.
But as far as the stinkiness, we call this town hall for a purpose of the volunteer fire department issues. That's why we call it, but since you stepped off into this other, I'm gonna go ahead and address that. At present, the city we have gone into debt, we're borrowing, we're $345,000 that the city's getting ready to spend to upgrade and to try to fix the wastewater treatment plant. We had just made a bunch of some high dollar changes about a year ago and some a year prior to that to try to help the smell. We know there's a smell. We have a smell because we bring sewer over here from the city of Hartford. It's not Hartford's fault, but when something goes, and Midland as well, when something goes 10 miles in a line, by the time it gets here, it's septic. It stinks. We know it stinks. We're trying to fix this thing. We have issues down here because the wastewater treatment plant is old, it's getting old. $345,000 that we just are getting ready to sink into the wastewater treatment plant right now to try to help alleviate that problem.
And I appreciate it.
Plus some additional that we just found out about, that Tony Gregory can talk about, some other leaks that we just detected that we're trying to fix right now. We're
And again, I
being
appreciate that.
proactive.
I'm not trying to change the subject to the thing. I did bring it up because I was speaking.
Well, I just wanted, you stepped off into it, so I wanted to address it.
Well, I'll step off here and there and everywhere as I go. The fire department issue, they are all volunteers. I spoke to one of your volunteers yesterday, on my own accord, called him, asked what was going on, both sides and every side of the story. Spoke to him, and, no, it's not what it used to be. Like whenever Mike was volunteering, Jackie was fireman and all that stuff. It's not. But we know what it was like. And I asked this, I'm not stepping off. I asked this a couple of months ago about the city trying to bring businesses in. What's the city doing to try to make the fire department?
Let me touch on that right quick. I've heard you say that before,
Yes, sir.
and I've heard
That
you
we
say it.
don't solicit. I understand that, and I understand.
I've heard you say it more than once before, Adam,
Okay.
and for your information and everybody else's information, we're not out here with signs trying to keep businesses away.
Right.
We welcome business, we want business in here. Nobody in this council right now, nobody at this table are responsible for businesses going away and moving away. We do have someone who is actively a good company trying to come into Mansfield right now. And it should be, but it's gonna take probably a year.
I get it.
We're not trying to keep people away. We can't go out here and tell, okay, we want Dairy Queen to come in, we want Walmart to come in. We can't tell these people to come in here. But if they come in here, we want to welcome them. And people should understand that, and I hope you understand that.
Well, I understand that, and I understand that you can't
Mansfield does, or people who own it,
The people that own it.
so not the city?
So the city doesn't own the land.
Are they gonna donate it?
You're not getting money.
But stepping back out of that, I brought it up earlier, and I understood your point then, just as I understand it now. Your rebuttal then was the same as it is now. I'm fine with that. I'm using that to bring up the point of what is the city doing to improve our volunteer fire department? We know that, was it a year? I'm sorry, did somebody say it was a year since we got 2 people that are licensed right now, or not licensed?
We have, right now, at present, we have 13 active firefighters.
Yes, sir.
Right now, at present, right this minute. We have 4 first responders. 2 of those are, we have a first responder, and we have 2 of those are, one was an EMT.
That's cool.
That's what we have at present, as we speak.
All up to date on training,
Yeah.
even before, not for that.
Well, no, not sure then, but we are actively trying. We are trying. We act like we're not trying. We're
No, sir, I'm not saying that you're not. I'm asking what you guys are doing, because I don't know how out of date they are, but I've got 160 hours of first responder training, not for the town. I've got 160 hours.
Why are you not giving it to us?
Volunteer.
Yeah, why are you
We're
not?
not concerned about it.
We're not trying to, why don't you run for office?
Teaching CPR to the teenage boys there that are at risk.
Well, other people do as well.
3 jobs,
That's
right?
good. Again, but I'm a citizen of the town just like everybody else, and the reason why I'm here right now is to ask some questions. I'm getting the answers that I want. So, I'm fine with that. I just came up to ask questions. I'm not calling you guys out saying that you're doing a horrible job, and you guys shouldn't even be up here.
Now, you said the city was going downhill this while ago.
Mr. Black, do you remember what it was like 20 years ago? I'm sure you did.
Whose fault is that? Tell me whose fault that is.
I'm asking what we are doing.
We have right now, this minute, we have 4 dealerships scheduled to come in here.
Over there at where the old Walmart was, and everything, possibly, this might be here. I know. I'm keeping up. But I
What else
just,
we can do?
So, Adam, when you say 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we had the best fire. Going to Rutland Street, across from us, we had a house fire out of 3 people. You blame it on the volunteers? It seemed like it took a long time to be there, but they came and they were all there. So, I mean, what kind of training to stop that?
well,
I mean, it's three people that are good people.
I honestly believe everybody's good people, but at the same time, if I'm on the fire department, which my wife previously was,
Yes, she was.
okay, and where she previously was, they didn't have proper equipment, right, so Mr. Osmond's. The equipment was not up to date. I'm not aware of this now. It is, I'm sure it is. But I'm not saying that volunteers that we have. Well, equipment, I'm saying, if everything was up to date, we would not be having this. Now, I don't think we'd have people writing articles about lies or truths. I don't think you'd have people digging into it. If-
Well, let me interrupt you there, and I'm gonna, your time is up.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But I do want to touch on that. We're not here right now because nobody has any training. We're here right now, I'm gonna tell you, because we had a change in leadership. Nothing has changed. For the past umpteen years, nothing has changed. We've got the same people, the same training, the same everything. All we did was change leaders. And then all of a sudden, all of this happened. That's the issue. Well, that's the issue.
Leader-wise,
That's the only difference.
whenever someone brings up facts that trainings or certain certification comes out, which is that part true? were certain certifications not up to date? Yes or no? Because if they
I
were,
don't know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't
then we'll
know.
bounce back to the very beginning. I think everybody on city council should know what those people do, work with them for the community. Just like my job,
I
my
don't, they've never done,
okay.
they've never done.
Well, then I would respectfully ask to consider, you guys consider knowing the information on that. Appreciate your time, guys.
Thank
I
you.
wanna, I would like to make a comment as regarding that.
Yes, ma'am.
One, and the last one, and I appreciate your passion for our city. As far as us being made aware, council members being made aware of every certification that every volunteer firefighter has, no, we haven't, I don't know that any council member in the past, before us included, but have ever had that knowledge or had the need of that knowledge, but that's, like to me, it's kind of like, do I know every certification that our wastewater workers have? Do I know every single certification that, our sanitation department has? I have access to that, I've given that every time they get a certification, I'm so proud of them when they do, because they're continuing their education all the time. But those are city employees that do a daily job, and, like we've said before, these firefighters, they are volunteer, and most of them are full-time jobs, or two jobs, and just like you said, you work 3 jobs, and I have to say, it has nothing to do with, council, but I appreciate the work you do with all the sports and athletics in this town, because you do.
Oh, first thing that, but if you're serving people in your ward, if someone from your ward said, hey, is this person really trained? I should be able to look at my trade for all of our guys are certified and up to date. And that's where the position as a council member comes up to have some knowledge of it, because I would like a council member or everybody or anybody else to be confident in the fact if I ask a question about something functioning in the city, that they can tell me, my representative of my ward can tell me, oh, absolutely, or no, but we're working on it.
Well, regarding training, Mr. Lodge was kind enough to share his knowledge and expertise. He's been involved, and he's very knowledgeable.
I would like to just a little bit in on one subject if I could.
Hold on just a minute, if you don't mind.
I'm Bobby Musgrove, I live here in town. I was in the fire department for both Mansfield and Huntington for 31 years. I was Mansfield Fire Chief for 6 years ago when I was on the Mansfield Fire Department. To understand about firefighting, I got a few notes here, let me look at it, get you started. Okay. There's 1,103 fire departments in the state of Arkansas. Of those, there are only 28 of them that are paid fire departments. Like Fort Smith, Little Rock, Bentonville, Fayetteville, okay? And that puts 974 that are volunteers. And being a volunteer, when I first started in '83, we had only kind of fire equipment I had was a fire jacket that was probably 40-year-old, a fire helmet that was 3 times too big, didn't have no fire boots, and at that time we got paid $5 a fire, and that money was to be paid to redo the clothes that you destroyed at a fire, your jeans, because we didn't have alternatives. Like I said, all we had was just a jacket, no gloves, no pants, no SCBAs, or none of the stuff we have nowadays. I mean, it's amazing how much the place has grown. And when I joined the fire department, we had a 1954 Ford fire truck, 500-gallon minute pumper on it. I mean, and we fought fires with that truck. And we done a good job for what we had. And now these fire departments
departments now are doing great. Not just Mansfield, Huntington, Hartford, Greenwood, all of these. The money that we get from the A33 money, the turnback money from the county we get a percentage of that tax that is paid into the county. We get a percentage of it. And each fire department gets a share of it for the number of people that's in your fire districts and how we get it. That's on that. But now to get back to what we want to do is talk about training. When you volunteer for a firefighter, you're obligated for 3 classes that you got to get in the first year you're a firefighter, which are Introduction to Firefighting. That's the main one. Second one is Protective Equipment, PPE. That's the second one. And the third one that is required is wildland fires. Okay, so we work quite a bit with the forestry. So that's one of the classes we got to have. And now, as the years have progressed, now they're wanting us to take more training on incident command courses. And one of the 2 that they would recommend every fireman to have is ICS 100 and ICS 700. Dwayne, he'll ask for me on that. But what I really want to say about volunteers, you can only get them to do so much. That's the word volunteer. And we're not getting, and only that pay we get is on the reimbursement for our time. Basically what it's for. And if you never have volunteered, you know what it's like. And you talk about first responders. I was an EMT for 14 years for the city of Huntington. I was a first responder, but I was a fire chief, firefighter for Mansfield for 15 years.
You take care of that man.
Do what?
You take care of that man.
Yeah, and talk about those scenes and, the way we respond to an incident, like doing CPR. I don't care how much training you got in CPR. If that person don't go down right square in front of you at the moment, CPR ain't going to help. That's the one thing about CPR. It's got to be done and started at the moment that the person goes down. I've had only one save that I've worked in, but because it was a person that went down right in front of me over on the street of Huntington. It's the only save I've ever had. But it can be done. So I know it's a lot of times when we go out on the first responder run, we like to just be in there and for a showing, in other words, do CPR, because when the family person passes away, they like us somebody to do something. Even we know that it's not going to help, we still try to do something, rather than stand back with our hands in our pockets. And talking about, he was asking about why firemen go out sometimes with the first responders. There's times that we have car accidents where we need backup on the scene, or we go somewhere where we need backup to pick up the patient, because not every patient weighs 70 pounds. And I swear, I've been on a scene where we had to take a window out and take the person out of the room. So it's something that you learn to do. I'm through.
Well, Bob, the other thing.
Thank you, Bob.
It's all volunteer, so they have to be available at the time to go.
Thank you, Bob. My name's Stephen Moore. I reside about 30 seconds out of Mansfield city limits. I was born here. Everybody in here knows me. I rode my bike across this town my whole life, okay? Tim Cawthorn, David Thomas, Rick Thomas, I appreciate y'all. Okay? Nothing against y'all boys. The ambulance situation on a Friday night was about my dad, okay? We got a call, me and my brother. We run the Shank game for our football team. My mom was in a panic. She found my dad unconscious in the floor. My dad's been in bad shape for a long time. And so anyways, we respond. David and Rick was helping shoot fireworks that night. When me and my brother got to my truck, we asked David and Rick, hey, Mom's called, may need some help over here. As far as I know, Mr. Cawthorn, you can help Adam. Y'all been in athletics. An ambulance has to
at the facility, correct? EMT, something?
We usually never made preparations for that. Sometimes they were there, sometimes they were not. It didn't go out on that board.
I'll find out. I'll find out. I'm on the Little League here. They make us have a certified, hey, when it comes to a certified, all that, I have no clue what I'm talking about, okay? They make us have a certified, CPR person on staff there at the Little League games, okay? I can't believe high school would
They
not.
have an athletic trainer, is
Okay.
what's required.
Okay. So anyways, back to my story. Dave and Rick shows up, my dad's unconscious on the floor. Did not know that we did only have one person at the time CPR certified, right, Mr. Coughlin? You were the only one at the time that my dad passed?
And I was not there.
Right, but you was the only one on the department
I
certified?
was out of town.
Yes, sir. Thank you for messaging me and saying what you said also. How do we get to the situation where we only have, buddy, and I know it's hard, but how do we get to a situation where we only have one certified CPR guy in the whole town? That's where I'm at, guys. This is my town. I'll never leave it. This is my home. I plan on trying to join the fire department. I'm going to do what I can do to help. I promise you. It's just a matter of time. My life, where I'm joining after the first of the year, and I'm going to try to do what I can to help here.
Well, when you
I-
say,
I just don't-
excuse me for interrupting,
Yes, sir.
Steve, if you're saying CPR guys, I think we're a little bit off in terminology. You're talking about one first responder guy.
Yeah. How do we
There
only
is a
get one
difference.
first responder in the town?
Well, we actually have two.
Who was the other one?
Mike Smith.
Mike Smith was retired.
Yeah, he retired.
Yes, he was gone. At the time, he was gone. He was 300 yards from where my dad passed. He was not there.
They did just retire.
And-
That's how
right,
we get
okay,
that.
okay.
To be honest with you, we are not required by law to have a first responder.
Is it something that, if we pay a first responder, can we pay? I'll donate the first $1,000 to it.
We have four first responders now.
Do what? Sorry.
We have four first responders.
Okay. Now we do?
Now we
Now,
do.
you got certified 2 nights ago?
Four.
No.
So who's the first responder now?
Those were just, you're missing.
Okay, so who's the first responder now?
Volunteers.
First responders now, I'll read their names off to you.
Mayor, Cousin,
Yeah.
while you're looking at that, I will say, this is something that we have all been trying to get. We've been begging.
I agree. I had no clue it was this bad.
Because it
You
is.
don't know until something happens, and then you realize.
People kind of forget, you hear volunteer fire department.
Right.
That's implied, they're volunteers. People forget that our first responders, they volunteer also,
I
but
agree,
they don't
absolutely.
get compensated.
Yeah, and that's
So
what I'm
nobody
saying.
wants to do it.
Can we
So
not find a way
Our new ones,
to pay them?
well, our new ones that, now, I'm gonna have to, I might be corrected on this, but I think I've been told we're not allowed to pay the first responders for certain reasons, but, the ones that we have volunteered to be first responders are not even from Mansfield. They come from Hartford.
Yeah.
There's one right there.
Now, let me name these
So-
names. The first responders in the city of Mansfield right now. Now, one of them needs to update his credentials, but he is a first responder, Albert Haysler.
Okay.
He's our assistant chief, Albert Haysler. And we have John Cochran, who has donated he's hundreds of first responder calls. Thank you, John. And then we also have Carrie Mann, who just joined here recently for the city of Hartford, and she is also an EMT. And then also Kelly Perez. So we have four right now.
And that's good to know.
I'd like to make a comment. Kelly Perez is not certified as a first responder. She's certified in first aid. And I have the document for that.
And
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are expecting the fire department to always be available and to be there to do CPR in the couple of minutes that you've got to do an effective CPR, it's never gonna happen, okay? Everybody in here needs to know CPR. So when that person goes down right beside you, you can act. If you're expecting somebody else to be available, get called, and be able to be there in time to make a difference, it's all time's out. It's already overdone with before they get there. So I challenge everyone here to get CPR certified. And be there and be able to act when you see something happen. Don't expect somebody else to do it for you.
Don't worry. I got it for 27 minutes. I did David Thomas for 27 minutes. I did it for 27 minutes on my own dad.
But having
27 minutes, sir.
First responders is not gonna, they're not always gonna be able to be there.
And I understand that. I'm just saying, we need more than one.
So
is all I'm saying.
we need more than one. But we need all of you here also.
So can I ask a question? I'm new to this race and I haven't even been following all this. Apparently, I've heard about it today. So I run the post office, and so I've seen a few of you, but I'm just curious, if there's someone willing to volunteer their time, maybe at the school gym, something, you guys could put a sign-up sheet at the post office. I'd volunteer to come learn it. I mean, maybe some of the people that go to the games would volunteer to be CPR certified, because they're a certified one that wants to donate
I
their
agree
time.
100%.
I mean,
And
because
there's
instead
some
of,
ways that we should be able, I don't know, and like I said, I don't know how this works, but there's some way that we should be able to figure out a way, if it's not illegal, to pay some first responders.
It's not illegal, but then when you're paid, you do not fall under the Good Samaritan Act. Therefore, you need to have malpractice insurance or you can be sued, okay?
so again, my question,
So the Good Samaritan Act, go back to this. 'Cause
But if
I've heard
you're
it, and I've learned.
CPR
and I'm
certified,
with you.
and you need to save your dad or whoever,
Do
would
what?
it make more sense for everybody to come up with a plan to solve it? Because if I'm having a heart attack back there, I would rather know that one of y'all would know it if you were standing
So
with
if
me.
legally they can help and not get sued. That's correct. So,
As long as
as a
you're-
firefighter, sir, as a firefighter, if you're not certified and you show up and a man's laying on the floor, you're not gonna do CPR?
I'm certified.
If you wasn't, would you do
A
CPR?
lot of people will.
I absolutely.
Hey, hold on.
I probably
No,
would
I
be.
can't imagine.
This man's gonna die with, unless you do something, an attempt to do something is
Yes, sir.
better than nothing. That's in my opinion, okay?
Yes, sir.
Even if you're not certified, you try.
I would 100%. That's all I want.
That's my personal opinion, okay?
That's all I want. When I walked into the house, and like I said, Rick, David, thank you all both very much for being there. When I walked in the house, I was told by the two firefighters that they could not do it. Okay? That's what I was told. Me and my brother started doing CPR. David steps in and helps. We did CPR for 27 minutes on my father until me and my brother said, David, that's enough. He did it for the last 10. And that's all I'm wanting. If there is a Good Samaritan, we need firefighters, when they show up, that's willing to do CPR.
We need your next door neighbor CPR certified.
I agree.
We need the person at the end of the block, and at the end of the next block,
But if
so that everybody can come and
show
help.
up, if a firefighter is going to show up, they need to be willing to do it. That's all I'm saying. If they show up on a job, if that's my 12-year-old daughter, my dad was in horrible shape, okay? When we got there, we probably knew he was gone, right, David?
Yes.
Right, Rick? He was gone from the time we got there. But you have to try, it's your family. If that's my 12-year-old daughter that needs 3 chest compressions because something's going on, kid at Lockside this year, free safety gets in, okay? Takes 5 steps all over. Our athletic director comes out there, does 3 chest compressions, the kid lives. If you don't believe me, I'll show you and I'll let you talk to that athletic director. If that's my 12-year-old daughter laying there, okay, out there playing it on the sideline, and your EMT is sitting in his ambulance and does not get out to do chest compressions, his butt don't need to be sitting in the ambulance, if you ask me. He does not need to be sitting in the ambulance if he's not willing to go help.
I don't know any EMT that would not.
Why did Gary Lawrence not out and
Wait a minute. Gary's not certified. He's not certified.
Okay.
He's not
notified of the call.
Why would they not come help?
He was
Why
not
would
notified. He doesn't have ESP. He didn't know it existed. He saw the other trucks leave. He didn't know where they were going.
You can see the lights.
You don't know. But you
You can see the lights.
But you don't know that. Can I?
No, I'm back, you said up there, come back.
No, sure. And so my name's Chris Laws, and I'm a president, and I'm the director of EMS for Mansfield years. And I have been in situations where we've told the loved one, this is what, and it's been said here numerous times.
I had a lot more.
And the whole volunteer thing, and I feel for you and Lucian, and I've had to be that paramedic who's told the loved one there's nothing that we can do. I'm sorry. More times than I ever want to do it again. It's been said here that everybody should be CPR certified. There is a such thing as hands-only CPR. It doesn't cost anything to do that. And it's been said here, we're beating a dead horse on that, and I think it rightfully so, but everybody should learn how to do hands-only CPR. Everybody has a smartphone. You can go home tonight and get on YouTube, hands-only CPR. Learn how to do that. There's no certification to have to be able to do that. My 10-year-old son, yesterday, we were in Oklahoma City. I had a hands-only CPR machine. He stood there for 15 minutes and went through that machine and was learning how to do CPR. He said, Daddy, I know how to do it now. I can be like you and Grandpa.
So why all of our firefighters
and I can't.
why can we not do that?
And I can't speak for that.
A good Samaritan, they're not gonna get sued.
Correct.
Let me interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
Stephen, I realize that you're very passionate about this.
I am.
I'm really.
I promise you, I want it to be better.
I know you are, but I'm sorry that you lost your involvement.
It's not just me, I mean.
But the city should be proactive
And
and trying to.
I think y'all are. I mean, I can see it getting better, and I'm telling you, I just don't want it happening to someone else. I don't want it happening to a kid playing at the football game, and a firefighter setting 45 seconds from them that went through CPR because they can't. I was told they can't.
I also thought that ambulance at the football, I thought it was there.
Yeah.
I promise you, Huntington's ambulance will not be sitting at Mansfield football field anymore, just sitting there to hang out. It will not be. If I had anything.
That wasn't Huntington's ambulance, okay? It was their air truck.
So my,
It was their
Huntington's air truck will be there.
And here's the thing that you have to understand about the volunteers too, and I agree with the volunteer thing and the paid part. Everybody here we all have multiple jobs, that's been said. And if you pay those, let's just say that particular night, if those first responders were paid, they may be going on vacation somewhere, so you can't determine who's going to be there. And then the CPR team, if it's in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and the pager goes off, okay, that pager goes off, you have to wake up, you gotta get out of bed, get dressed, go wherever you're going, and that's maybe a 5-minute, a 15 minute. If CPR has not been started, at that point, CPR is not going to do anything. Unfortunately, with as big as this county is, and where Sebastian County's EMS is, it does take a long time to get people. There's nothing that you can do about it. And if they're on other calls, there's gonna be a truck coming from Fort Smith, or maybe a truck from Stock County. I think that what we can take from all of this, everybody can take, is that this issue that has happened is not something that just happened, okay? And it's been something that's gone on, but I think that with the new fire chief, the new council, that we can take from this, learn from it, and I think people have.
I don't want it happening again. That's why I'm here.
And so,
What's happened in the past is over. I do not want a
have
firefighter, any
hands over
firefighter.
CPR. When you guys are here, go get CPR training.
We want you
And I
to
appreciate
join our
it.
fire
And I'm going to. I'm going to.
Steven,
Is that all?
I have an application right here.
I'll take it. So, and that's all I've got. I just want, I just want to bring that.
Buddy, what is a town? A town is a group of people. We all have responsibility. Everybody that goes up and down the street, whether we live in the city or out where I live, we all have a responsibility. I would like for you to read again how many people out in the county
Don't know what you're doing, right? I mean, my
we
husband's
have,
brother
and
answered
how
the
many
phone.
are paying the fire dues? That is shocking, they can find out, it's so few are paying fire dues. What can we do to get more money? Do we need to lower it for the rest of them?
CPR basically, oh, it should be, absolutely.
Would that bring more people paid? Would that,
What we could do, get more people to pay, one would be, most people, or some people pay, what would help is if they could put it on the tax bill. But they're protesting that as well. It's hard, it's just hard, really hard. We've got approximately, you may give or take the house, approximately 900 homes in our fire district. And we've got a small fire district. Huntington's is larger, and I think Northwest Wisconsin is larger than Mansfield. Pretty close. We've got 900, $50 a piece, which is what we asked for fire dues. That's $45,000. Trying to follow here, sir.
Outside the city.
Outside the city, the residents in Mansfield don't pay fire. It's included in their tax, county tax.
as someone living out of the county, I have no problem with that.
I know.
Every town. So why
Other
didn't every
people,
town?
some people don't even know.
They will if
No,
you sign
we
up
put up
for
on here on our
That's
board
why I put it on the
every
sign.
year.
To pay them in the next
Fire
year
dues,
if it's due.
fire dues.
But if you don't know, sign
Some
up,
people
they should
pay
be sending.
73
Because
pay-
looking
pay
at
out of
post office, we probably get 4 or 5 of them back. They're not
Yeah,
covered.
we see the numbers all the time.
Okay.
There's probably a better way to know.
Let me, I'm gonna let Travis talk about
Right,
that.
but I think they put it on the sign. Yeah, but I have it.
Two ways we can complete those matters. One is a special election, one is a petition of 50% plus
Yeah, any time you want to go to it.
agreeing to do it, basically. We had the petition ready, and I think Chief Smith started working on that, but I don't think he's able to get it done before he retires.
I'm not advocating that everybody be forced to do it. Some people probably can't afford it. But what I'm asking, what can we do to get more people to pay some, if they can't pay all of it?
I don't know, but $50 in fire protection is really not that bad.
Pretty cheap.
Let me tell you, what we can do, if we have to go fight a fire, and somebody hasn't paid their fire dues, we can bill them for our services.
That was my next question.
Right, but mine.
And it's gonna be a lot more than $50.
There's currently 4 departments in the county that have their fire dues on taxes. Greenwood Rural, Milltown, Washburn, Riverdale, and
We get started trying to do that, and we're going to keep continuing to try to get that done.
Well, I just feel like everybody that comes through these streets through here, whether they live in town or out in the county a little bit, we all have an obligation. It's a town is made up of all of the people.
$50 is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Your pleasure. Sure. What's your name?
Russell Paris.
All right.
Everybody here?
Okay.
Okay, so all these people that, the 900s that you said are outside, pay the fire dues, are they on city water? Okay, how come I notice it sitting on their water bill, so, that.
We send that on our fire.
Okay.
On our water bills. Fire dues now, the fire dues, rural fire dues.
You just said you want to order the city, right? They can't, but it just said outside of the city limits.
We don't
I don't
require,
think
we
you
can't
have to put it
require
in.
it, we can't force it to pay it, but we ask them.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Address the group.
Yes, sir.
Hi. I apologize, I've been farming all day long, so I'm a little dirty, I forgot about the meeting. I'm Kevin Jones. I've been a paramedic firefighter for about 34 years. Sherry and I graduated high school happen to know I was the youngest person in our class, so you're older than me. I know, isn't that terrible? Anyway, I've been a firefighter, a paramedic most of my life. And I'm not intimately involved in this particular situation. And Sir Osborne's bugles on my collar. I was a director of an EMS service in Missouri for a period of time. I have a lot of experience. I'm going to come in, I'm going to support the fire department. And I'm going to tell a lot of you some things you might not want to hear. But listen to me, it's all plus. The fire department does not have to respond to medical calls. And in fact, many, many places in Arkansas and Oklahoma, the fire departments do not respond to medical calls. I love having my firefighters there because they're good at, they can help me carry patients, they can do a lot of things. But they have there's nothing that forces them to be there and respond to a medical. So the simple problem for the city would be to say, we're no longer responding to medical calls. And where does that leave you? That leaves you with no help until an ambulance can get here from Greenwood or Waldo. And that's really not what you want, I don't think. What do they need for help? Do they need $50 fire dues? Would that help? Probably not. What they need is people. They need people that are willing to go through 30 hours of training every year to get an EMT license, 15 hours every year to get an EMT license.
I gotta go. Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah. Thank you, guys. I didn't get here for everything, and I apologize for that. I've been informed and asked stuff that I appreciate you. Came dirty, so there again. What you need is people that are willing to stand up and volunteer. They're willing to take the abuse that they've gotten over the last few weeks over this particular call. They're willing to take people abusing them on social media and saying hurtful things and making accusations that I can't attest to the truthfulness of what's been said or is false. You've been leading this, Mark. You know what I think. I think you're way out of line. I think you're so far out of line it's not even funny. I think what needs to be done, and you've heard me say that, you need volunteers. And so, where does that leave people like me? I pretty much trained at least one of your first responders. I was my partner for years. I'm a paramedic in Oklahoma, but I'm licensed in Arkansas. I have not volunteered here simply because I haven't had time. But all of this bickering and infighting and talking and saying things on Facebook is not helping your problem. And I don't know who all that's here that's willing to listen. The gentleman that his father died, I appreciate that. I sure feel for him. I can promise you, I'm looking around this room, there's people I don't know, but I doubt there's any two people that have as much experience in this as I do. I've told countless family members that their member has passed. I have shook some hands and played dominoes with some that got out of the hospital after I did CPR. There's a gentleman said up here that said pretty much if you don't see them fall, you're not going to save them. That's a tough statement, but it's not far from fact. If you don't have somebody right there in that situation, and statistically, they tell us that the brain's dead in 7 minutes. Okay? And by the time they hit the ground, that clock's already been ticking. Okay? That doesn't start ticking when they hit the ground. It's already ticking. That doesn't leave you a lot of room. Living in a rural area, in a small community like this, we have so many pluses over living in town. But one of those pluses is not an ambulance around the corner. Okay? An ambulance that's driving up and down the street, I don't know how much Sebastian County's ambulances run, but just the truck. looking at $250,000. Okay, you're looking at another, to staff that truck full-time, these are rough numbers, do not quote me. But you're probably looking at another $500,000 to staff that truck. So by the time you spend equipment and you spend all that, you're looking at $1 million. And you have to have a medical director. Somebody said about getting paid people. That brings in the fact that you're gonna now have to have a medical director. You're gonna have to pay you're gonna have to pay insurance. Insurance is ugly. So what you need and what fixes the problem, and somebody needs to say this, is not money. It's people. It's people willing to stand up and raise their hand and say, I'll first respond. I do a lot of first response, but it's not because I'm on the fire department, it's because everybody knows me in my community, or I'm kin. They call me first. And I say, did you call an ambulance? Well, no. So anyway, I missed a lot of what was said at first. I may be redundant on some of this. I apologize for that. You don't need to be running out here yelling at you. Now, I think a mistake probably was made. A couple of firefighters showed up that shouldn't have showed up, but not because they're unwilling to help. It's because they felt like they were tied by the rules. Okay? You can't be mad at those people. Okay? They really are truly there to help. And I worked in many volunteer systems. And again, many fire departments that did not respond to medical calls. And that's not something I would suggest, but I'm telling you the easy road out is for this fire department to just tell you no. That's not what we do. We fight fires. And I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't suggest that they're gonna do that. But I'm just telling you, I can take you to many fire departments within a 50-mile radius of here that do not come to medical. They're fire department only. We go into those systems on our own. So, like I said, I'd be willing to answer any questions or tell anybody stories, but I apologize for being late. But that's the gist of it. You can sit here and argue all day long. But what you need is volunteers.
Kevin, thank you very much. Hi, my name is Javon. I grew up in this town most of my life. Now, I'm not gonna say much about the medical stuff because I know CPR stuff. They make people learn that more all the time. My dad was the first responder in the little dinky town, Chicken Creek, Oklahoma, for a long time. The only one there. But what I'm really interested in, talk to the chief, I wonder, like, the biggest problem in this town is there's not enough information. You know, people just go with the wildest idea. I came down and talked to Buddy about the stench, you know, and what was going on, what they were doing. More than happy to share with me what was going on. So, my question for the chief is, you're new, and any failure, when I went in the Army, any failure is just a failure of leadership. You know, I want to know what you're going to do with what you're training. And I don't mean by CPR training. I mean just getting the guys out. I had the unfortunate, I guess, pleasure of watching the fire department work the other day on Grove Street when they responded to a fire. It was like watching I use the term all-star team. They all looked like they knew what they were doing. You know, they did a good job. When I was in service, I worked on aircraft, and we had a fire department on base that was second to none. But they're training together 24/7. So I really want to know what y'all do to train together, team building exercises. Do y'all get together like once a month, every couple of months, just pull out the equipment, run through the motions, and then put it all back up? What do y'all do on that? And also, what's your training goals? What's your goals for the next year? That's all.
Can you hear that, Jesse?
Yes, I can. I've got an answer for that. So I intend on, we have 2 different meeting days a month. We have 2 different meeting times. One's 9 a.m., one's 6 p.m. Going to be the second Thursday and the fourth Thursday of the month. I plan on every other meeting getting together and working with the guys, you know, doing field operations, getting set up on rapid hydrant and kind of going through
our SCBA's, is there a way that we can work together to get the fire department new SCBA's? They're out there. That's the self-contained breathing apparatuses that they wear to go into house fires. Is there a way that we can work together to get?
We can apply for a grant, is what we can do. Grant time is coming up. It's upcoming. I just got that email yesterday from Tracy. We can apply for a grant to get that done.
I have a question for Hunter, please. Hunter, you're certified in different trainings, for different departments. You do the stop the bleed class. By the way, my name is Dave Thompson, I'm a firefighter. You have all kinds of certificates and stuff for training. Are you willing to come and do training for our facility?
Absolutely. I have a question.
Okay.
Do you have any current training since 2012?
Yes, I did a water shuttle class with Sugarloaf Fire, and also done a Talbot class with Huntington Fire.
Which brings me to a question, why were those documents not provided in my FOIA request for certification?
Well, I will tell you,
Can I ask you some questions?
Yeah.
What's your name again?
Hunter.
Hunter.
Hi.
And you, what are you? Are you an EMS, EMT?
EMT.
Firefighter? So you're familiar with the National Association of Emergency Medical Technicians?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're aware they have a code of ethics, correct?
Absolutely.
And you took a pledge to follow those?
Absolutely.
One of those says to use social media in a responsible and professional manner that does not discredit, dishonor, or embarrass the EMS organization, co-workers, other healthcare practitioners, patients, individuals, or the community at large.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like you've abided by that code?
Absolutely.
I've got a stack of Facebook posts that thick.
And they're all valid concerns.
It wasn't just concerns.
They're valid
There's a lot of
concerns.
back and forth. It's Brian Webb.
I'm not gonna speak on somebody that is not present at this meeting.
Hunter, were you on this department at one time?
So my question to you is, you're in Paris, you're an EMT up there,
Absolutely.
so why are you calling all this attention to a fire department / group of volunteers that are trying the best they can? You
I
don't
just
think-
want better training, that's all. That's my whole goal. I'm not here to shame anybody.
But your
I'm not.
FOIA requests have been responded to timely, have they not?
They have, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So what's the point of all this?
I just want to make aware of the community that we do have a lack of training, but we can do better. We can come together and reach out to
Why have you not been
other
to a
places.
council meeting before?
Do you think social media is the best platform to do that? Because I've got all of them, all the screenshots, and
Okay.
I mean, I think I've got authorization to reach out to this board on behalf of the city of Mansfield in response to all that you said. But I've not done that yet, because I wanted to hear what you had to say.
Like I said, I just want better training for the community. I mean, I had a family reach out to me about their loved one that passed, and it made me upset. It made me want to know why these things were happening.
Did you come down here and talk to the mayor in person?
I asked to speak at the council meeting before December, and I was told I'd have to wait.
No, this person passed you.
No person in that.
Have you been down to City Hall to talk to the mayor about any of this issues before you went on social media?
I had called, and I have a date that I called to speak about this concern.
But you've not come down?
No,
That's all I have.
You called to get put on the December council meeting,
to speak about public health and safety concerns. That's all, that was it.
and that agenda was already set.
Yes, absolutely.
I asked you to come back and to notify me, and we'll put you on a January meeting.
Yes, sir.
Is that not correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Which hasn't happened yet, correct?
No,
I just think it's more appropriate.
absolutely, I get that, and it's not a, like I said, it's not a personal attack. Those family members reaching out really hit home.
Really, that is the biggest way to get to the people in Mansfield. His communication with the mayor won't tell them.
No, I don't think that's the point, sir. I think the point is if you have a genuine issue and you have a genuine concern, social media, while it does get messages out fast, there's a tactful way of saying things. If you have a genuine, heartfelt concern, and if you are that concerned, contact more than just the mayor. There are lots of council members here, and, sorry, sir, hold on. He can come to the meetings. You know, anybody's welcome to come to any meeting. Always. And I know I get lots of calls from lots of citizens all the time. It's not uncommon. You know, if somebody has a concern, hey, Ms. Thomas, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. But you can go on Facebook and say whatever you want to say. There's no one stopping you. I don't personally do that because I'm a council member. When I go on there, it's usually my sister says, hey, look at this, you know, or my daughter does. But it's what's being said that doesn't show the tact or the true care and concern.
Thank you, Billy. I'll just follow that up by saying that questionably it's irresponsible and unprofessional the way it's handled. And I've got copies of all of it, including the ones you deleted. So.
Okay. Back to my question though. Back to my question, you're certified in different things.
Yeah.
I know you are stop the bleed and all that. But when you do a stop the bleed class or whatever, I wasn't able to make that class. But when you do one, it has to be registered with the fire academy. Okay? We had guys that took that class. It was not a valid certificate.
It is a valid certificate, it didn't have the roster.
I'm just telling you what I
Okay, well, I'll check it out. I understand,
Please.
absolutely.
Please do. I wasn't there.
Oh, yeah,
Honestly, did not
absolutely.
get to go. But any course that you are available to teach, I would ask that you reach out to Jesse
Oh, absolutely.
and let's try to do that. And as far as the SCBA's go, I mean,
I
they're
really want you guys to
$30,000.
have, I know, they're expensive.
$30,000.
I just want you guys to have the best training and equipment that you
Absolutely.
can have.
Absolutely. I do not disagree with that at all. But anything that you can do to help the department, I'd appreciate that. You know? And I wish Brian Wood was here because I had questions for him too.
Absolutely.
So, there you go. That's all I have.
I'll touch on that name real quick. I'm not going to speak on someone who's not here. I don't know who this Brian Webb person is. If they stood in front of me right now, I wouldn't know. I've never seen a Brian Webb approach me ever in public in my 48 years of living in Mansfield. But you know, there were comments made from Brian Webb about people I care dearly about.
Absolutely.
Very, very nasty things, you know. They had nothing to do with the city.
And I'm not
Nothing to do
responsible
with-
for anything that somebody else does.
Oh,
I'm
I
not.
understand, but that's what I'm saying.
I
It's
understand.
all tied into the conversations that we've had with him.
Absolutely.
So, you see, kind of.
I will refrain from that, I will understand.
Yeah, because that's really not ethical, you know,
I understand what you're
and has nothing to do with city functions.
I'm gonna say one other thing before it goes across my mind. When you get old, you lose your mind before anything else. But I'm gonna tell you, John Cochran, who was not here, he had to go take a call, he's out. But there was some posts made regarding somebody took a picture of the rescue rig church, at his church. John, that particular day, the ambulance went out about 5:30, around, maybe a little after, and went out Broadway Street and over the hill. John just happens to go to church at Abbott. After he made this call, rather than drive back home, while he was out there near his church, he went into church that evening, that Sunday evening. That's why his rig is out there. So he doesn't drive the rig on a personal basis. It's just on calls. And he was on a call. He just hadn't made it back home. That thought just came to me. I needed to touch on that before anything else. Robert had a question.
I'm still concerned about the lack of money that's being brought in. For the fire department. My question is this: would the city accept donations from $10, $25.
Yes, sir.
Other people, if they would bring in $10 or $25.
Yes, sir. We always.
If that's
accept
what they
donations.
can afford,
We always accept donations, and it is applied toward whatever you want to donate it for.
okay, is there any way,
Fire department, it'll go to that.
is there any way that can kind of be publicized, that
We will put that on our Facebook page.
you can, if you
Yes, sir.
can't afford it, we will accept $10
Yes, sir. We will
if
do
you'll
that.
bring it in.
That's a good thought.
Because we need money for that fire department.
Yes, we do. I agree with you. Thank you, Robert, for that.
They can mail it, like mail it.
Yeah, they can mail it in.
And you can mail it in, that's right. Yeah, we'll put that on there. Y'all take a note of this.
Boy, you take a note. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just say yes.
Well, I'm sorry.
Can I ask the city attorney something real quick?
Yes, you can. Okay, somebody else have a question or comment?
Good evening, my name is Amara Ross, and I've lived on Grove Street since 2003. And, I had some questions, but I did want to go ahead and say that I think that everybody appreciates our volunteer fire department. I don't think that any person in any of the discourse has said that they haven't. But the tone of any of these concerns has been taken with extreme defensiveness, which I think is doing our city a great disservice. I think that whenever citizens express concern, that those concerns should be heard. And, then you can take, a personal note on whether or not you feel like otherwise or not. But whenever you work for the city and someone that lives in the city, or someone that has association with the city, loved ones that live in the city, express concerns, and they're met with defensiveness, it makes them very apprehensive to reach out again and express any more concerns, which doesn't help our community grow at all. And so I think that that's a great mishandling of this. Now, while some of the discourse online I do feel got a little bit out of hand, it was warranted. It educated a lot of people on things that they needed to know about, ways that they needed to be involved, and speaking out against things that they were otherwise scared to speak out about, because that opportunity did present itself. Now, I have addressed the council on 2 different occasions in 2025 about an ongoing situation that I'm dealing with. The second time that I addressed the council about the situation, every single council member that I reached out to speak to about it would not speak to me before the meeting. And so that, that statement of, oh, well, you can call me and ask me and talk to me and stuff like that, I would that. And so that is not, all the way true all the time.
And
And
contact me and I didn't know. So that was the end of the statement, that you can call me, you can talk to me, if you give a call. I just emailed you. So that was it. I didn't know you.
I wasn't saying you particularly.
No, I know.
I'm saying my experience with the council members.
Right, and I'm the one that made the comment.
volunteers.
Volunteers.
Again,
Sebastian County EMS ambulance service would be paid by the county,
that's what I'm saying, the people who are
Right.
paid, who are employees.
but that's not the city, the city's all volunteers.
City by volunteers.
Okay. And then, so another question that I've seen kind of circling around about the emergency vehicle and the insurance for the emergency vehicle. Just a clarification, does the insurance on the emergency vehicle, in that, insurance plan,
It doesn't matter where it's housed.
it doesn't have any?
It's in the city.
Okay, all right. And then,
Other towns, we're not the only town that has someone doing that. Nearly every town does.
oh no, I don't have any say about like where it's housed or anything like that. Again, it's all, what is the city liable for? What can they be held liable for? It's really just all of my questions are concerned for what the
This
city
is,
can be
this
held
is
liable
to
for.
shorten the response time. He goes out on call.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying anything about that. I just wanted to know about liability and the insurance and the clauses in the insurance
It
plan.
is insured.
Well, I understand that, but I was just wondering about the terms of the insurance. Does it allow it to be outside?
That was supposed to be, yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. And then you had clarified at the beginning of the meeting that the emergency vehicle, it doesn't have things in it like ear things and stuff with life or anything like that. It just has general equipment in it. So if the vehicle.
It's medical supplies.
If the vehicle were to malfunction in some sort of way, like, would that count against our insurance plan, like, for the vehicle? Because it wasn't being stored, because it was being stored off the city property?
Yeah, I just spoke to that, it's insured wherever it's housed, wherever it's at.
Okay, and that wasn't my question. My question was, if it malfunctions while performing a job.
You repaired it.
The answer to that question is yes, it would be covered by insurance.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
24/7
Okay,
inside the city limits.
okay.
If the mayor gave permission and you lived in Abbott, for you to drive that truck home so that it would shorten the response time for our citizenry, yes, it even would be covered then.
Okay, again, I have no problem where it's housed.
I
I
understand,
have
I'm
no
just,
problem where it's housed.
I just didn't want like you were understanding what the mayor was saying. So yes, it is covered even if something happens.
Okay, all right, all right. And so essentially all the questions that I have are about liability and how the city is responsible, or could be held responsible or not responsible. And I just wanted some clarification on that.
Sure.
So thank you for all answering my questions. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Anybody else?
They'd actually, some of you on you, I haven't been to city council before, I never have been. I just wonder, where do those go? What does the city council do?
The city council,
Make decisions for the city.
I'm asking that.
Okay, I know you're looking for specific things said, but being up here, in general, we try to make the best decisions that we can for our city, for what our citizens want and need. And we take into consideration and under advisement everything that the citizens tell us. But that's why we're here. We're elected in by the city, by the citizens that vote. And we're here for you guys.
So really, you don't just come here and meet and pass whatever we vote to pass. That's basically it. Right? No, my question is, you're over in my ward. Do you ever go around?
Oh,
I mean, I don't know what those.
I know what-
I don't know what the job is. I know the mayor is roll letters out, and he ain't, they don't, nobody's out.
I don't go to business, people. I
understand that.
Okay, you ask, okay?
What goes on?
You live a block from me. stopped and talked to, you and your wife, and I was walking with my granddaughter, to put her in my cane, okay? I have a lot of physical, stuff that from walking my neighborhood.
Julie, you don't have to explain your whole life away to that guy. This is big. All I wanna know.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Okay, I'm trying. We are not required to go door to door. But you know what? But I will tell you, we do go out into the community and do things for the city.
I'm not saying what the.
And it's just like Ms. Hopkins down here said, she said, boy, I wish that's all we did.
Yeah.
Because this poor woman, people come to her job, and she still has a smile on her face and talks to them. But it's not, we're not required to do anything more than just come to the monthly meeting. But we do.
Thank you. This gentleman, this gentleman right here, my name is Jeremy, and I'm an alcoholic. Sorry. Couple of questions. How my OCD works in Great Silver State of Arkansas, is it intentionally crooked or that just happened? You said earlier, you stated that you were allowing the ERV for the rescue vehicle, Mr. Hopkins' house as it stays. For clarification, this house is a half a block, correct? Literally straight shot, half a mile. So that saves some degree of time. Is it, that's the one and only reason you have to rent? There's at least 10 other reasons I can think of that are negative to the fact of storing it there out in open versus the enclosed location of the firehouse. The benefits of that literally less than 1 minute outweigh the risks of potentially stolen items off of it, damage, things of that nature, mice, squirrels, etc. And our neighborhood. Do the benefit of the 1 minute time saving outweigh, since we're on the topic of not enough money? Well, I don't know the 1 minute. I drive over that. Well, but if you're talking about up there and out here, just to go, but what about if he needs to go somewhere else, that direction? Then he's gonna have to come down here and get it, go somewhere else. It's, so we'll call it. It's not just a matter, it's not just driving. It's a matter of everything else. Yeah, I've never been 2 minutes. Be here.
I'm just saying, we don't have,
I want to say
we don't have.
you're acting as if 2 minutes don't make a difference, or 1 minute doesn't make a difference. Hold on.
I didn't say that.
No. I know you didn't word it that way, but you're kind of sarcastic. You said, oh, okay, 2 minutes. But let me just say to you this, okay? I know my own personal experience, just 6-8 months ago, I know someone who it was down to, had they been taken care of, even 10 minutes past what they were, they would not have made it. And like the mayor said, it's more than just driving time. You know, it is changing over everything, changing over the vehicle, going down to go pick up the vehicle. And I'm only speaking on this because I've had many people ask me the same exact question, was it really necessary for him to have it if he's on call? Absolutely. I feel like the man is on call 24/7. I feel like he should be able to drive it everywhere, personal or not, if he's on call 24/7, but that's my own opinion. Okay?
At the time that it's allowed, he was the only person capable of driving the place on the horse. I believe you said there's 4 now, or is that a different classification? So the 2 minutes to get to his house and back to get it, he's unavailable. Like the one instance he was sitting right across the road from the residence, there's an issue. If we would have had personnel all the time, which we do now, he's unavailable. And how much time would that take to go to his house? Find the key, unless he's leaving in it. It's an honest, legitimate question. I understand, trust me, I have numerous family members in the past that have been saved by that 1 minute. I understand it was simply a question.
I can answer that question. So if he has to go out of town for any reason, he brings that rig back down here and sets it back in the station. He does not leave that vehicle sitting up there when he is going out of town. He don't do that. If he is going to Fort Smith, he will bring that vehicle down here and he'll put it back in the station.
And he notifies the fire chief.
So if we have another emergency response person coming, they can come right here to the station and get the vehicle. But
So he does it when he leaves his home.
if he leaves his house, yes, he will take it back over here.
I drive by his house every day. I live 2 blocks from him. I'm telling you that is patently false, sir.
Okay,
100% false. I can take a picture every day, show you my dash cam.
So do you?
My surveillance video.
So do you follow him around and know when he leaves in his own personal vehicle and takes
He
off?
drives by my house.
In the vehicle.
In his personal vehicle.
Okay.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. He drives
Whoa.
by my house. I live 2 blocks away, sir. I apologize. It's been a long night. I apologize.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Sir, your 2 minutes.
when, when somebody's heart stops, you have about 3 minutes time to get CPR started on that person, or it's not effective. 3 minutes. I'm home in my house tonight at 1 a.m. My pager goes off. I've got to get out of bed, get my pants and my shoes on, get in my vehicle, and get to that person's in less than 3 minutes. That does not count at the victim's residence. Whoever's there has got to identify this person's in trouble. Make the phone call to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office transfers the call to West Ark. West Ark pages out the ambulance and the first responder. I'm telling you, we're out of time before I leave my driveway, before you get the page. So that minute makes a difference.
Absolutely. But it's not always CPR that's needed. Somebody is bleeding out.
Correct.
I use CPR as an example.
That driver needs to be close to the vehicle.
Buddy, can I say something?
Sure, go right ahead.
I know what his concern is. I know that I'm not on 24/7. And there are times that I do leave my house with my pickup. But when I leave my house with my pickup, the bag that I use to go on call is with me at all times. So if something happens that I do have to go on call, I will respond to my truck. And that's using my own gas. And I won't have no problem with that. But the city has offered to let me have the truck, to use it to help me with some of the gas costs. You know, before they did this, can I go ahead and say this? Before I did this, the year before, I spent over $2,000 of my money on gas, going on call set. I volunteered to do it. And the city has given me a break by offering me a vehicle so that my response could be a lot quicker to help somebody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
I was just gonna add that, I'm neighbors with Johnny here, and I can contest that he has about 6 different cameras on that vehicle at all times, no matter where it is in his yard, if it's in the front yard, under his carport, hell, you can even bring it around the back to where his pool is. It doesn't matter, there's about, what'd you say, 8 or 10 cameras? 8 cameras on that vehicle at all times, so if anything, if anyone's worried about any sort of theft or anything like that, I mean, we'll find you real quick. Whoever it is.
My name is Dylan Thomas, Small Fire Department. Just some things aside first. I'm in the process of getting all my training up to date. I work just like everybody else does. We don't have time for it all the time. Nobody else has time for it apparently, or else they'd be volunteering just as well as we are. Cocker back there dedicates every possible second of his life to making sure that citizens of Mansfield are taken care of, one way or another. Fire, emergency, or spiritual. He's also a preacher. He has many hats that he wears. So if he has to balance those things, sometimes it gets out of hand. How many of you have trouble balancing on things in your house? Let alone on everything going on in the city. One of my vehicles was in the picture that was taken at the church. I know, speaking on behalf of people from the church, it made everybody uncomfortable. Just because vehicles were blocked out on the tags doesn't mean that that information wasn't broken down prior to blocking it out. This town has an opportunity to make a change and see a change, but it takes a town to do it. It takes volunteers to do it. Mr. Cochran, back there up until recent time, now has to bring a bulletproof vest with him where he goes. How many of you are willing to put that on to go on a medical scene? It is sad that he has to take proper precautions. As a medical responder, you should not have to do that. But they have deemed it necessary because you don't know what you're going into. The person you're going in to help can be the one that takes your life. That's with fire, that's with EMS, and that's with police. Now, is everybody ready to jump to that and volunteer for that? I don't think they are. It takes a special kind of person to want to do that. I've seen everything going around on Facebook. I've heard everything going around in town. It's ridiculous. As a town of grown people, for the people to act like children that attend the elementary school. I will say this. If you want to help, by all means help. The city takes donations every day, all day. Should it be put on resident press? Absolutely. I encourage somebody to make that happen. If you want to sign up for a CPR class, get a hold of the fire chief, get a hold of the mayor, get a hold of Sebastian County EMS. That's who put on our CPR class. And it was open to the public. Whether that was made public knowledge, I have no idea. Can't speak on that behalf. But I know citizens that were not on the fire department attended that class and got certified. So if everybody will put aside what they're seeing wrong and start making a difference in what they want to change, things can change. Things can get better. This is a limited city with limited funds, as is every other small town in this county. You mean to tell me we just got millions running out our ears that we can spend on everything and win whatever we want? We don't. All the people that were supposed to pay fire dues and we had that such small percentage, that's why we can't get updated SCBAs. That's why we can't get updated equipment. And the fire chief that we have in there now, no disrespect to Mike Smith, known him my entire life. The fire chief we have in here right now has made changes, he's trying to improve things, and he's getting knocked down at every turn. Because it's something that doesn't matter now.
Something in the past.
He has got radios fixed for us so that the ones that actually do show up on the fire department have access to those radios. I've been on scenes where I've had to holler at the other guy while we're blocking traffic for a traffic accident. Now we can talk to each other directly. That saves valuable time. That makes the difference. He's making a difference. Nobody wants to see the difference because of what's going on Facebook is more important. They take it as God's true word. It's not. You want the facts, you come down here, you FOIA it, you talk to somebody that's handling you directly. You don't go to another citizen in the town on Facebook who does not have the proper communication, who does not have the proper information. Everybody in here has spoke their piece tonight, and half of it has just been non-related to what we even came here for. We've sat through this whole night to talk about sewage and everything else that doesn't matter what we come here for tonight. And I'll note that a handful of people that came here tonight hadn't even met you, hadn't even heard anything from you on Facebook, but the ones that were on Facebook, griping about it, complaining about it, did not show. Note that. So if you're going to make a change,
And we have applications back here on the table if anybody wants to sign up for the fire department.
and if you would like to get more, there's more over there.
I am going to say this, and I mean this sincerely. John Cochran has taken a lot of people, taking that vehicle home for things that he's done. But as I spoke to him, we had last year 333 medical calls. John might have missed 5 to 10 of them. How many people would make that many fire calls? That's nearly one a day. Nearly one a day. Average, nearly one a day. John, I just want to
make sure through city that he is legally allowed to. I know he resides in another county. in another city.
We're on top of that.
That way it's covered and actually accurate. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that we are from Northwest South, and we are in a mutual aid, as you are with us. In Northwest South, we have 16 rural fire departments, and we too have the same problem in fire use, and we are addressing that.
What are you doing to address it?
Well, what we do with Northwest South, we actually, we get help with the state, from the state, to send out fire dues for us. But as far as collections, we have over 700 residents. And we're lucky if we can get 7% of that. So what we try and do, I mean, we're going to go on the call. But we also train, and we will offer and be the mutual aid for your training. We do have certified CPR instructors. We also are currently in the process of starting our first responder class.
We won't end that.
Yes, and just know that, and that's what we're going to do. So we are, and I would have to say I'm very proud of the fire chief, Donnie Atkins, and also my husband, that he did reach out to Jesse, probably your first one to reach out and extend the hand.
And we appreciate that. Jesse and John both attended that Stop the Bleed class, but we understood that
It needs to be redone.
that Hunter did, it doesn't count. They had to go down to Y City and take it again because all they did was a video, is what I understand.
Understood, and we too are reviewing that, and we too have to redo it. So it's not.
John and Jesse both attended a physical class in Y City.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir, Kevin.
Yeah, I find your number of people paying is, I'm with you, Robert, that's appalling, the small number that's paying. I don't know if there's any recourse. Here's an idea for you. This is something for the city attorney probably to look into. But that fire department comes with a significant reduction in insurance for people paying insurance on their home. And if there is a way to say this person has not paid on their fire dues, so technically their coverage is in question. And certainly fire departments frown on, our insurance companies frown on that. And there's been some recourse with insurance companies when I was in Missouri working on the fire department, but I have no idea what the legalities of that is here. But it might be worth your while to look into that.
Thank you.
Greenwood Rule, I'm also a fire chief of Greenwood Rule. We put our dues on the property taxes. It works great.
We're trying to do that. We're working toward doing that.
We get a check once a month from the courthouse. They just make a direct deposit into our account. I get an email monthly saying how much that money is. They take care of the whole thing for us, and make a deposit in our account for us, and the money's there for us to use. So it works there. I don't see a downside to it.
I know with Hartford Fire, with Hartford Fire, we get almost $5,000. We have a company that sends, we have a company that sends out.
Start over, Danielle.
Hello, I'm Danielle Woodard, I'm a firefighter. So Hartford, we get almost $5,000 in fire dues. We outsource it, they send them out, and our people come in and pay their bill. I don't know if we have people coming in that are moving in, and they want receipts for their fire dues, so they can get insurance on their house. So I'm thinking insurance companies are starting to really crack down on this. So it's gonna be something that's gonna come up, and they're gonna have to start paying their dues.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Dana. Does anybody else have anything to say? If you don't, we're gonna end this. No? Yeah. All right, we're gonna call this meeting.
Thank you.